Okay, need to head to the gym, running a little behind, but I really wanted to put this video out because I think it's really important. Now, I've said this before, and I'm going to stand by it. I am not going to attack other YouTubers. I'm not going to attack other tax professionals. If I see something on YouTube, I'm not going to react to other people's videos, kind of tearing them down or whatever what they're doing. I know that that's how, you make money on YouTube. It's being sensational and, being negative. I'm just not going to do that. That's not how, it's not how I operate. What I will do is attack how, a rule is executed. I have a critique about that, but I'm going to talk about that law or that rule. I'm not going to talk about anybody in particular. Okay, what is the point of this video? The point of the video is this. You really need to hire tax professionals for complicated tax issues, which is going to be, I would say, 90% of the things you see on social media. I know it's great to find a TikTok or a reel or something that says, hey, you can say you can avoid paying taxes if you use this strategy, and the rich use this strategy, yada, yada, yada. Some of those things are true, but you have to fit within that specific, situation, the facts and the circumstances for you to apply that law correctly, legally, without, tripping over landmines, is you got to hire someone who knows, and understands the rules. Where is this coming from? So I had a prospective client that I spoke with all this week. I'm going to change the facts because if they see this video, I don't want them to know, I'm talking about them. But what happened was they tried to execute on a strategy that was appeared on its face to be a relatively easy strategy to execute, but they didn't know all the little nuances of the law, and it looks like they basically shot themselves in the foot. And so they have 3 years of tax returns that potentially need to be amended. And I was doing a review of their information, of their tax returns. And as I just did a cursory review, I found all of these things that were wrong, that were potentially wrong, that needed to be fixed. And so what did they need to do? I told them, first, you need to pay me to review all of these returns because we got to do a deep dive of all the things that you've done. And that deep dive is going to unearth whether, we need to make amendments, where there are holes in the law. Can you continue to execute this strategy? There's just all these things that just look on the surface like they're just potentially wrong. And I can't prepare your tax return until we know what these issues are that need to be fixed. Because you may have lost, there's a strategy that they execute, that they're trying to execute, where essentially it defers the taxes until later. But when they set it up, there's certain things you need to do when you set it up in order to get that benefit later. And they didn't do that, is what it looks like. So again, the point of all this is, when you see things on social media, embrace them, enjoy them, get excited about it. But you need to hire a tax professional to help you with those strategies. You pay the CPA for an hour or two of their advice, to give you the advice, to give you good advice so that you don't shoot yourselves in the foot. Accounting is one of the few professions where you can get a law degree, you can get a PhD. It's a multifaceted discipline. It's accountants' fault that we don't get the same recognition and shine as lawyers and doctors and engineers, because the stuff we do is it's just that complicated. It really is, you know. But it's our fault. It's not your fault. It's our fault as professionals, because we don't demand, as a group, we don't demand that type of, respect. It's not hating on lawyers and doctors. The point I'm trying to make is this stuff is complicated. We can go to jail about certain things if it's not done right. We get attacked and sued, and we have the state the federal government, there's other agencies. We have our own profession that attacks us. And check this out. Here's the other thing. The tax law is so complicated. Even the IRS probably couldn't tell you how many different volumes. An IRS representative couldn't probably tell you. I don't know if anybody can tell you how many volumes there actually are in the tax code. And here's the other thing. The tax code is constantly changing. So changing. I did a quick chat GPT search. I'm like, all right, how many changes to the tax law have there been in the last 5 years? And here you go. This is just within the last 5 years, and these are the most significant ones in the last 5 years. And within those, you got to dig within the code to find out what will apply to your specific client in any given specific situation. And you have an expectation of us that we need to just know this stuff off the top of our head. Like the best tax professional is just going to know it. Boom, here's your stuff, give it to me. It only took you 5 minutes to give me the answer. Yeah, but it took me 20 years and tens of thousands of dollars in time to understand that code or how to interpret it. I have I've had prospective clients come to me. I'll give you another scenario. Had a situation where picked up a prospective client. We were working together, and I kind of knew this person through another person, and so we had a relationship. Prior to being the tax professional, there, for them trying to retain me, and they read a rule, and they read the rule correctly. But what they didn't understand was the implications around how they were interpreting that rule and why it didn't fit specifically to them. And so you have to understand everything everything out there on social media will say it's dated. Just assume that it's dated. So when you see a video when you see a video, you see a strategy, you need to understand that can be dated. Here's another thing. So sunset clauses. What are sunset clauses? So I now said just the sunset clauses for TCJA. So that was an act that was passed 2017 when Trump first came into office. That was ultimately passed. We'll talk about that in another video at some point. But we can look at just one of the responses. But here are all the sunset clauses in the TCJA Act. This is just one act. So this tax stuff is hard. It's not easy. I spend tens of thousands of dollars staying on top of the tax code. I pay other, experts to make sure I understand the rules. So you thinking you can watch a YouTube video and prepare your own tax return for a complicated strategy, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. So what I tell people is you're going to pay on the front end, or you're going to pay on the back end. If you pay on the back end, you're going to pay twice as much, sometimes 10 times as much as if you would have just paid somebody on the front end. Hire a tax professional, pay them for an hour or two of their time. You never know. Sometimes I just don't charge the people for the time, especially if it's something that doesn't take me very long. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to get charged when you hire a CPA. Just call and get the advice. Pay the fee. Hey, I'm trying to become a real estate investor. Can I pay you for 2 hours of your advice to tell me how to avoid, the things that I don't know about the tax code? I'm gonna go buy a house and I want to do fix and flips. Can you walk me through the things I need to have in place? Can you give me guidance? Here's for 2 hours of your time. And I promise you that money is going to pay for itself. If you find the competent, tax professional, someone that works in real estate, if you're trying to do, stocks, day trading, find the person in that field that understands it and just pay them for the time on the front end. If you're doing your own bookkeeping, hire a CPA to give you tax adjustments throughout the year, not at the end of the year, throughout the year, because we can't do anything for you It's tax season now. So this is January 16th when I'm recording this video. And people are going to come to me, give me all their tax information now, prepare my return, and they're going to be like, all right, now I want you to save me $30,000 here in January. I want you to save me $30,000 for 2024. Probably can't do it. I've had maybe three situations where I've been able to save people money, significant amount of money in the previous year when we're preparing the return. I did save one person $40,000 for 2023. We're not going to be able to, we may not be able to do that every single time. That was a scenario where all the things came together and it just worked. But if you want to save that kind of money, you can't do it now during tax season. It's just assume it's not going to happen. Find a competent tax professional, pay them for the advice before you execute a specific strategy so they can give you all the landmines. If you want to do it yourself after that, at least you have the guidance, competent guidance that you need. Social media tax advice is dated. Just assume that it's dated. Always look at the date because the tax laws are constantly changing. So you don't know what you don't know. And it takes a tax professional who's been doing this for a while, even if they don't know the answer immediately for your specific situation, we know how to go find the answer to your specific situation. And it takes time. And we got other clients too. So we may not be able to answer it, in 5 minutes and 5 seconds. And if a CPA can, answer it in 5 minutes, they've spent years and years and years and years and years and spent, hours and hours and hours and thousands of dollars to get to a point to know that knowledge, to be able to give it to you. And so for you to just think we're just going to give it to you for free, it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. You wouldn't do that in your business. The only thing that tax professionals have to sell is their knowledge and their time. That's all we got to sell to you, knowledge and time. Now, the implications of that can be tax savings, it can be time saving, it can be all these other things, but that's all we got to sell. That's our only product. And so us, you going to a CPA and saying, we just talked for 5 minutes. It took us thousands and thousands of hours and thousands. It cost us a lot to get to the point to give you that, 5 minutes. Again, accountants, our industry, I'm mad at our industry, not at you, that we don't demand and aren't appreciated just as doctors and engineers, maybe not, excuse me, not doctors, lawyers and engineers. Let's put medicine out of this. That's different. We're not saving no lives in accounting. We're not saving lives. Anyway, everything on YouTube is dated. Just assume that. Hire a tax professional. Hire a tax professional before you do something. Hire a tax professional before the end of the year. That's how you're gonna work with us. All right, I gotta get to the gym. Have a good day.